Kia ora, Sagittarius. Thanks for joining me. This is your new moon and Leo reading. We're going to look at overarching energies for you at this time. Your choice, your choices, I guess that relates to issue at hand, whatever's going on for you, and then moving forward. And remember, these are very, very general readings. Okay, so we see overarching energies, the Knight of Wands. We'll just get the other two cards to come out. Your choice, thank you. And one for moving forward. We'll go through clarify. Moving forward for Saggies. Moving forward, we will go through and clarify and then pull a few more other cards. I've got some I've got some new wordy cards, so that's always exciting. Anyway, we come out with the Knight of Wands, a firebrand, very passionate, very impulsive, in fact to the point where they create almost their own atmosphere. This could be aspects, it could be aspects of you, Sagittarius, but it could also be aspects of course, another personality in your life. We see this sort of impulsivity. A choice at the moment is really holding firm. I do get this sense of holding firm, really holding yourself within your own centre in some ways, where we see here the Hermit in the position of choice. You know, the Hermit takes time out. You know, you don't have to remove yourself. You don't have to walk off on some into some remote place. We can do this wherever we happen to be. Shining a light on some. We just need to go inward, you know. So there's a choice here. Maybe the environment around you, the sages sort of get a little bit out of control. You know, maybe there's a lot of sort of explosiveness or a lot of passion in your, you know, around you in your environment at the moment, and it's requiring you to really hold your center, and be very very firm in that, very kind of, you know, the need to go internal on it and just shine that little light in there and just have a wee look, Sagittarius. Moving forward, we get the Five of Swords. You know, all the fives are about conflict, which is necessary. You know, either conflict or ascertaining boundaries, whether they're your own or someone else's. So when we see the five, it's kind of like it is something that we do to ourselves. I mean by that, you know, that it's the Five of Swords. Swords are quite sharp, and we can be quite good at, you know, certainly if there's a level of over-intellectualizing everything, which I'm not saying that, I mean, this is just what I'm getting, that we can really sort of slay ourselves in that. And there is a level of letting oneself down with the fives. or that someone else has let you down too. I mean, this is a possibility. But anyway, we'll go through and peel the layer back, Sagittarius. Definitely just looking at these three, there is a directive just to, maybe it is a good choice, to go inward for a wee bit and seek one's own wisdom here. Yeah, well, again, we get, which is the same card, we get the King of Wands. The Thoth deck does not have kings, it has knights and princes and princesses. It's slightly different. So we get the same. Look, and the I must say, the King of Wands is very charismatic. In the Morgan Greer deck, very charismatic, very charming. Very charming. Can be a bit egomaniacal, but, nothing's perfect, Saggies, is it? Let's just see. Can we just clarify those two? What are in effect two Knights, Kings of Wands, please. Yeah. Look, maybe it is just aspects of yourself, but we get the Six of Discs. Pardon me, Sagittarius, sorry. We get the Six of Discs, which is generosity, So this character, whether it is your elements of yourself or someone else around you or in your life, there is a kind of mutual generosity between you. Let's just see what the Hermit's, what's the purpose of the Hermit here for Sagittarius's choices. So yeah, maybe a very there's generosity here. Wow, Sagittarius, what the is going on? Okay, so we will, I'm not laughing, we will get more clarity here. Look, I think maybe there's been a review going on, and when we choose to, shine a light a little bit here, internally with the Hermit, there's potential of great new beginnings in the Thoth deck with the Hermit card. We see the sort of Orphic egg. We see like a new beginning, but also a sort of we provide our own, it doesn't make sense, we provide our own ability to see, because it's not through anyone else's eyes, is it? It's just what I'm getting with that. With the Hermit, we'll just, as we go through, with the Hermit, we have three cards that came out. We get the Tower infused with wonderful new information. This is the way I'm looking at this, because I think the Tower is a wonderful card in this reading today, infused with great new information here. I think, look, sometimes, and there's a few of the readings today that almost feel as if a large part of them is past. It's as if it's happened already. Well, I mean, in terms of, time. I mean, I know time is not linear, blah, blah, all of that, but there's been a few readings that it's almost as if this is what, like we could look at it like the last year or something, or the last 6 months. Anyway, so we get the Tower, this infusion of new information. We go in, we shine a light here. We shine a light, new information, gleaned in aspects of what have not been overly conscious elements of ourselves. Or we understand more clearly some of the more conscious elements of ourselves. And this can create big change. We have the Five of Discs, which is the card of lack, or putting yourself behind everyone else. Making sure that everyone else is okay. Standing out in the cold. Because, you know, it is a habit of behaviour and a habit of mindset. And to understand where you've done that, or, you know, how it's played out. We all do it sometimes, or we all have had periods where we have done, where we basically do it. With that, we get now don't be alarmed, of course, we get the Ten of Swords. We get to the end of the suit of the mind. And again, speaking of, you know, the sharpness of our minds is more often than not, we get in our own way and we sort of, if it's not someone else, it's ourselves sort of inflicting the sharpness of the sword, the sharpness of our own mind inflicted on ourselves. But the wonderful thing about the Ten of Swords is that it's an end of a cycle, because you can't go any longer. And in fact, it's like an epiphany card. And of course, we all know sometimes things have to break down in order for this sort of new information to come through, that enable us you know, to carry on into a new cycle. This is an understanding of not only karmic patterns, if you choose to believe in that. It indicates that there have been major lessons to be learnt, whether that's, you know, within your cellular memory or whatever it is, that you have, excuse me, that the penny has dropped. And this is like, wow, I've gone through all of this. Excuse me, Sagittarius. And now, you know, this is like really, this is the beginning of a whole new spin, because I've learnt these major things. And it's not so much that that's what life's all about, because we want to have a lot of joy, a lot of connection, a lot of happiness as well, and not forget the importance of that. So let's just look at the Five of Swords, please, Sagittarius. Look, I think this is amazing, because and again, this Ten of Swords, oh my God, yeah, oh, So we had 3 cards actually come out. What was I saying? The 10 of Swords, Sagittarius, has come out a few times whilst doing these readings. Now, to clarify this difficult, let's not fudge around it. The 5 of Swords is difficult, and I see it as a person, you know, really inflicting it upon themselves here. It's a uncomfortable place to be in. It's not, it's for a reason. To clarify that, we get the 9 of Wands. Now, I'm seeing this as the wounded warrior here. We're speaking of habitual patterns of behaviour. I think a lot of, wow, this sage just keeps going. It's choking me. Beautiful sage. Over this time, it seems, I think there's been a lot of people discovering either what they don't want or how they want to recreate something new. And certainly beyond everything else, I'm going to have to put some water on it. It's going off, Saggies. Maybe I'll sprinkle it with something. Oh, crikey. Maybe we need it. Excuse me. That people have seen whatever individually that has been, but people have maybe become more aware of these patterns of behaviour which are obsolete. They are simply habits from the past that we trawl in every time, you know, a specific thing happens. What we do, it's a defence mechanism here. We see this, it's very similar kind of thing in the 5 of Discs. And in the 5 of Swords here. So to clarify that, we're looking at habits, we're looking at patterns, we're looking at trauma, we're looking at wounds, of which every human on the planet has. And this is able to be gotten rid of, or to be changed, altered, understood. And I think that is your epiphany in the 10 of Swords, Sagittarius. It is your epiphany because we get the Ace coming after the 9 of Wands, this wounded warrior figure. We have insight. We rediscover our connection with the divine here, our connection. And then it all comes through, this clarity, this new information, which was really ignited in the Tower here. So that's a wonderful thing. The 3rd card is, of course, Death. It heralds the transformation, a major transformation in terms of choosing differently as one moves forward. You know, and this is in terms of decision making, in terms of how you feel about yourself. It's really inspiring. I mean, it's a really amazing reading, Sagittarius. So we'll just shuffle these. We've got shuffle the Fairy Oracle by Brian Froud. I love these cards. What can you tell us here, Pixies and Fairies? Because to me it's like, wow, amazing. Amazing. We look at this transformation, please. Transformation. Got one card. I just want to get another one. You know, sometimes it takes a long time to decide, and I'm not talking about decide. I mean, it can take a long time to make decisions or to see them, to see yourself being able to bring certain things in, right? So the first card is Taom the poet, the great muse of writing, but also quite a romantic card and a very fast moving card. This is very fast, and if it were a personality, or if he was a particular personality, which he is, he has his eye on a target and he moves very swiftly towards it and sees every detail. He is working at a faster pace, you know, like a kind of like a hawk, you know, the eyes and sensory abilities of a hawk. But there's a romantic element to this. There's a delightful worldly weariness, again, like the Nine of Wands, I guess. You know, we see the tatters on this creature's back. So we're not talking gender. Worldly, weary and worn, but still, you know, up for it, still speeding forth, still passionate, you know. Wonderful thing. And we get Indie, which is a card of indecision. Sometimes we have to see that, you know, we've got to see that one ball here is a lot larger than the other one. And to me, it really does pertain to this mutuality or generosity, that you want that reciprocal thing happening. Well, this has been a part of understanding that, actually understanding that possibly for yourself, Sagittarius, that you want a reciprocal, more of an equal exchange, I guess. So I think that's quite gorgeous. We'll just get a journey map card for Sagittarius, please. Look, this card indicates, you know, that literally, when we're in a balance, when our heart and mind are in balance, we are able to act. We're able to perform, exert, make choices, exert our will in a way which honours our own personal integrity. To do things, you know, to go after things that honour that. It is a card to encourage balance in this heart-mind connection, because if we don't have that balance, if we forget about it and it gets out of whack, which of course that happens all the time to everyone, we become sort of stuck in the analysis paralysis of it all, you know. And I think there is a reason for, you know, to me, like the 5, it's not really analysis paralysis, but it's like this whole reading is sort of, it's like you've really had some amazing alteration in your understanding of the way that you do what you do. And I just think that's an amazing thing, because you know, because it's difficult and it requires quite a lot of personal work, Saggies. So these are my little writing, the sort of love comes in many forms, but it always comes from the heart. Just look at 2 cards here, please, for Sagittarius. But I need to put my glasses on. So we'll take one off the top. Wow, we've got 2 quite not extremes. So we have obstacles, and you know, obstacles, small stones in your shoes can put you off course because they're a distraction. They're annoying. It's like a voice that never stops, isn't it? Like the mind. Then we get ritual courtship. Sounds delightful. The dance. Every step is a day in spring. So on that note, beautiful Saggies, enjoy this time. Tune into your ascendant, moon, Venus and Jupiter for a kind of more expansive view if this didn't resonate, which they are general readings. But thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Okay. Ka kite. Bye. Toodle.